Alright guys, have a look at this. You see this whole room here? And gone. It's so good. This build is so strong. It's super satisfying. And these guys as well, all dead. What's up everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Ben Lee. I make multiple videos on Outriders every single week. Tips, tricks, guides, builds, you name it. And I've also started live streaming. It's been going incredibly well and the support has been amazing. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. Also hit that like button. The streaming has been right here on YouTube, so you don't even have to leave the platform. Very convenient. So hit that subscribe button. You'll be able to be notified when I go live. Don't be like Dave here. Come on, Dave. You can do it. But with all of that out of the way, guys, so today I've got something absolutely amazing for you guys. It's quite possibly the fastest build to be able to speed run a map like Boomtown and get the shortest time possible. The AoE clear speed of this build is absolutely insane. I've never seen anything quite like it before. There's also 3 different variations of the skill tree that I'll show you: a speedrunning build, a balanced build, and a tanky build. So there's something here for everyone's playstyle, no matter what kind of route you take. All of the builds have the power to clear entire rooms in seconds. It's so crazy. There are even times when you're stood around like, come on, hurry up Bob, spawn faster, because it just clears them so fast. So stick around guys, I think you're gonna like this one. So coming over to the skill tree, the first one I want to show you is Top Tree, and this is for a speedrun build, and that is for things like Marbled Orchard here, and Trial of the Ashes, as well as Ashes to Ashes over here, and Trial of Ashes again over here, and more Marble Orchard here. That's reducing the cooldown of Ash Blast, but it's also giving us extra damage to things that are affected by Ash. And also over here we have Ashes to Ashes, which inflicts vulnerability onto enemies, which weakens them even further. Up here we have Hot Situation, and activating your immobilized skills increases your anomaly power by 45% for 10 seconds, which is really strong. And then one of the other main ones we wanted to take here was Wildfire to decrease the cooldowns by 10%. And then with the few remaining points we had left, because we don't need anything else from the top tree up here, we've actually come down and grabbed up some more health, as well as reducing cooldowns on Heatwave, bit more health, and a little bit of armor here from Master of Armor. So yeah, it might seem a little bit weird, but it actually does outrageous damage. And if you're looking to speedrun something like Boomtown, then this is the one you want to take. It does leave you really quite squishy, even with these here. However, if you're looking for a higher skill cap, but trying to break world records type of build, then this is the one you want to go down. Coming down to a more balanced bottom tree build, again, we're going to be taking things like Wildfire for extra cooldown. We're taking With Fire and Anomaly, so activating explosive skills increases your anomaly power by 12% for 10 seconds. Also as well, on this one you're picking up quite a bit of extra anomaly power from these nodes. You're decreasing the cooldown of Overheat here and here, which allows you to fire off an extra overheat in the middle of the cooldown when you're waiting for Ash Blast to go off cooldown, which can be nice for an extra heal or an interrupt. But it's quite nice having Phoenix Nestling in this. This is one of the reasons why I would recommend going bottom tree if this suits your playstyle. Because of the cheat def here, it can be really quite handy. I've also then just gone at the top here to take a Marbled Orchard to reduce the cooldown of Ash Blast, again by 15%. You could fiddle around with some of the skill points in here. For example, you could take off this mark here and you could put on Strength of the Flame to make yourself a little bit more tanky. I chose here to go Master of Resistance instead of the skill Life Leech, but you could again change these around to suit your playstyle. Going with the more tanky tree, and this is actually my personal favourite, the damage is still absolutely insane. The clear speeds will be a bit slower, but it's much more reliable from my experience. Again, we're looking to reduce cooldowns with Wildfire and Marble Orchard. We've even jumped up here to get Hot Situation and even extra damage to Ash. You do not need the nodes here at the end. They would be useful, for example, Trial by Fire, but I found that this tree works best here. You're very tanky having Master of Armor, also Master of Resistance there, and Anomalous Lava here, so that you don't need any defensive mods at all for this build, and you still do incredible AoE damage. You'll just be slightly slower when it comes to killing the bosses. So after a lot of playing around guys, this is what I recommend. This is the skill tree that I use with this build, but any one of them is viable. It's just completely up to you for what suits your playstyle, and feel free to have an experiment round with what you like best. Coming over to our weapons and armor, The first thing that I use in my main weapon is a Shadow Comet and Fortress Funeral Pyre. I absolutely love Shadow Comet, it's absolutely amazing. It's really good for just extra damage, it's only on a 3-second cooldown, and it also acts as an interrupt, and using on a shotgun, when you fire once and the pellets spread out, every single individual pellet can cool down its own comet, which is really strong. So you can get off like 4 comets from one shot, and it will just take out an entire group of enemies. It's really handy, and I highly recommend it. On my secondary weapon here, I've chosen to grab a Death Shield, and I've got Fortress and Moaning Winds. I basically just use this for Moaning Winds, but Fortress will still buff your damage across the board, so it's still really good for there. Then on the last weapon here, you can use any kind of pistol that you like really, and you can put on Moaning Winds just as an extra bit of damage for when you're weapon swapping. Torment and Agony works quite well because you have clip combustion on it, so you can get extra damage that way. It's only a little bit of extra damage, but everything counts, so it is quite useful having that as well. So those are the weapons I've chosen to use. Coming over to the armor, ideally you want to have anomaly power, cooldown reduction, and then either status power or skills life leech. If you want more health and be more tanky, then use skills life leech. Or if you want your burn damage to do marginally more and you want Ash to last a little bit longer, then you can go status power, but it's up to you. But you really want to have the 3-piece Acari. I've chosen the head, chest, and boots. You could actually put the pants on instead of the boots, but then you're wasting a mod slot because you'd be stuck with Anomaly Echo. So I've decided to put on the boots. I think it works really quite well for me. But starting off with the mods, we've got Fire Tsunami, which increases the width of your firewall, which is really quite decent. And then we have Death Sentence. Death Sentence is really good. It's Ash Blast. Your weapon damage and anomaly damage against enemies affected by the skill are increased by 40% and 30% retrospectively for 5 seconds. Death Sentence really helps with the whole room clear, and I highly recommend using it. And Death Sentence drops here on the Torturer's Mask. Coming down to the chest of the Acari, you've got Detonator, which is really good. Decreasing the cooldown of your overheat by 50% is really strong, and I highly recommend using this one. It also comes with Anomaly Power, Skills Life Leech, and cooldown reduction, so it's a really strong piece of the set. I've then chosen to put on Captain Hunter on here. I have also played around with putting on an extra heat wave here, which is really good. If you're going solo, Captain Hunter is really strong, but if you're going to go co-op with this build, then I probably recommend putting on the extra heat wave rather than Captain Hunter, because you'll be able to debuff further for your team rather than just having extra damage for yourself. Moving down to the trousers, I've got Ride the Wave, which gives us an extra heat wave there, and I'm also using Untamed Power. Untamed Power here is one that I really quite like using for solo. It's a personal favorite Anomaly Power mod of mine, and it does a lot of work for me. I like to charge in and use my skills that way. It's also why I like to use the mid tree for this build, because it gives you extra survivability to be able to charge bosses, etc., and be able to melee them, and it does a lot of extra damage that way, because Untamed Power does actually proc off melees as well, because melee counts as a skill. So it's really strong, but you could have a fit around with this and change it out if you don't like it. Coming down to the hands here, I've got Burnt Out, which is Heat Wave. Damaged enemies take 25% more damage for 8 seconds. This is why I also have an extra Heat Wave from Ride the Wave here, because they do actually stack, so you can debuff enemies further, and it's also why I'd recommend in co-op not taking Captain Hunter and taking a third heat wave, so that you can do more debuffs for your team and clear the map even quicker. The next one we got here is Ash Range Increase. This was highly suggested to me in stream, so I figured I'd put it on. It is really strong. Increasing the range I actually think is mandatory, so I definitely keep this one in. You've just got to look out for the fact that when you use Ash Blast, it's not instant with how it travels across the map and hits people, so you need to hold a delay before you use your overheat, and you'll see this when you come to use it. You have to hit the skill, wait a couple of seconds for it to spread out and affect everybody with Ash, and then you use your overheat to do insane damage. Coming down to the boots here, we have Master Consumer. This is why I have the boots on, but as I said, you could break them down and you could put Master Consumer elsewhere. This is what gives you so much crazy damage. It's completely mandatory. So overheat, the skill consumes either burn or Ash status to deal damage. Consuming both at once increases damage by 150%. Absolutely mandatory. It's absolutely amazing. Must have it on for this build. And then the last one I've chosen to use here is Ashen Boost. Boost your damage against enemies affected by Ash by 20%. This is really quite strong. An extra 20% to everything that your Ash hits. Again, you could try swapping this out with something else, but that'd be up to you. One of the other things you could do instead of Untamed Power, for example, if you wanted to be slightly tankier, is you could then put on a defensive bond here. You could put on something like Blacksmith or Damage Absorber, even Circle of Power, power. These are very good shouts to be able to put on if you want to get yourself more tanky. So there is some flexibility here. Obviously, if you're going for a speedrun build with top tree, then I wouldn't put on any defensive mods, because the whole point of you doing that is to get the quickest time possible. It can be a little bit tricky, guys. I died quite a bit using it. You guys might be a lot better than me though, so check it out that way. I also recommend that with top tree, you only do maps such as Boomtown and Chemplant. It seems to work really quite well on those two. The other maps with more alien creatures on, it seemed to struggle a bit, especially compared to like my debuff Pyro build. And if you haven't checked that one out, I highly recommend checking that, because it's a really strong build as well, and one that I actually prefer using over this one. So that's the full build for you there, guys. There are some other noticeable mentions which are twice as hot and bullet kindling here. However, I don't feel they work as well. And as always, guys, because I'm really nice, I'm even going to take the time to load up all the mods here on the screen for you at the same time, so you can pause the video and have a look. And remember, guys, if you like this, remember to go down and like the video. So yeah, with this build, guys, I highly recommend just playing around with the skill tree with the recommendations I put up and seeing which one suits you and your playstyle, because all three work. However, I did find more success with the mid skill tree when doing other maps other than Boomtown and Chemplant, so that's what worked for me, although I do think the bottom skill tree will work quite nicely as well. But yeah, the AoE damage from this build is absolutely incredible and second to none in this entire game. If you're really looking to do the fastest runs possible in the game, then this is going to be one of the builds that's going to get you that result. I honestly can't tell you how satisfying it is to walk into the middle of a room in Boomtown and just clear the entire thing in a couple of skills. It's absolutely crazy good. And just a little tip for this for your rotation, what you want to do is run forward, use both of your heat waves to get the extra anomaly power from the Acari set, then do Ash Blast and wait a couple seconds for that to spread, and then do your overheat after that, and you'll find that it just wipes out the entire area. Just want to shout out for the Discord that we've got going. There's an absolutely amazing community going on there. It's completely free. The link will be in the description if you fancy joining it. There's loads of people in there offering advice with their builds, as well as doing free carries for CT climbing. So a big shout out to you guys. Keep up the good work. You're doing absolutely amazing, and thank you so much. Love you to pieces. And if you want to check out more, come check me out on the stream. I stream right here on YouTube. If you like the video, please give it a like, and consider subscribing if you've learned anything. I'll be posting multiple videos on Outriders every single week. And let me know in the comments what you think of this build. Maybe you've got something else that you would prefer to try, or another mod that you think would be amazing. Then let me know. I really want to know. And if you're going to use this build as well, let me know, because I really want to know who you guys are. But until the next one, guys, I'm going to leave you with two clips here, one after the other. The first one is going to be with the top skill tree, and then the second one will be with the mid skill tree, so you can get a bit of an idea just from looking at the gameplay, what might work for you straight away, or what you might want to try. Remember, the top skill tree is very squishy, and it can be very tricky unless you get a nice pathing and get a nice route going. And mid tree is going to take a little bit longer. The cooldowns are a bit longer as well, but it's so much more consistent and safer to just get constant golds. Alright guys, so they're not perfect runs at all, they can definitely be improved. I hope you enjoy them, and I also hope you have a nice day. And until the next one, guys, remember to come and visit me in the stream. We do viewer carries and I have the storm carries. But until the next one, I'll see you around. Peace out.
wandered into some maniac's idea of a party. Would you look at that? There's a pod here. Bandit leader's taken care of. Your pass is clear. Where'd these bandits come from anyway?
They were insurgents. Defected to our side months ago.
wandered into some maniac's idea of a party. Look at that. There's a pod here. Bandit leader's taken care of. Your pass is clear. Where'd these bandits come from anyway?
They were insurgents. Defected to our side months